Every morning, before the world makes its demands on you, there is a quiet moment of choice, a moment where you decide how you will think, how you will feel, and how you will show up. The way you begin your morning shapes the way you live your life. If you build your body every day, if you feed your ambitions every day, then you must also build your mind. Intentionally, consistently, and with purpose. Your mind is the foundation of everything you create. It determines how you interpret challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and how deeply you believe in yourself. When your mind is strong, circumstances lose their power over you. When your mind is clear, your path becomes clearer. And when your mind is disciplined, your life begins to align. These are not just lessons for success. They are lessons for peace, resilience, and self-mastery. Practiced every morning, they become habits. Practiced over time, they become your identity. Building your mind is not about perfection. It is about preparation. It is about choosing thoughts that serve you, beliefs that uplift you, and intentions that guide you forward. Each morning is a reset. Each morning is a new opportunity to decide who you will be today. When you train your mind daily, you stop reacting to life and start responding to it. You stop being controlled by fear and start being guided by purpose. And slowly, quietly, powerfully, your life begins to change from the inside out. The way you begin your morning sets the emotional and mental tone for everything that follows. Too often, people wake up already reacting to alarms, messages, responsibilities, and expectations. Urgency takes over before intention has a chance to speak. When this happens, your mind becomes occupied by external demands rather than guided by internal clarity. Beginning your day with intention is the first and most powerful step in building a strong, focused mind. Intention is the act of choosing how you will think, feel, and respond before the day unfolds. It means deciding who you want to be today, not based on circumstances, but based on values. When you wake up and immediately engage with negativity or comparison, you surrender control of your mental state. But when you pause, even briefly, to set an intention, you anchor your mind in purpose instead of pressure. Starting with clarity does not require hours of meditation or perfect routines. It can be as simple as a quiet moment of awareness. Ask yourself, how do I want to show up today? Or what kind of energy will I carry into my work, my relationships, and my challenges? These questions shift your focus from reacting to creating. They remind you that you have agency, that you are not powerless in how your day unfolds. Urgency creates anxiety. It convinces you that everything is important, everything is immediate, and everything must be handled at once. Over time, this mindset exhausts the mind and weakens emotional resilience. Intention, on the other hand, creates order. It helps you prioritize what truly matters and release what does not. When your mind is clear, your actions become deliberate and your energy is used wisely. Controlling your thoughts before the world tries to control them is essential. Every day, you are exposed to opinions, expectations, news, and comparisons. If your mind is unprepared, these influences shape your beliefs and emotions without your consent. By setting an intention early in the day, you establish a mental boundary. You decide which thoughts deserve your attention and which ones do not. This practice builds mental discipline. Over time, you become more aware of your inner dialogue. You notice when fear tries to dominate, when doubt tries to speak louder than confidence, and when distractions attempt to pull you off course. Instead of reacting automatically, you respond consciously. This awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence and self-mastery. Beginning with intention also strengthens self-trust. Each morning, when you choose clarity over chaos, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of guiding your own life. This trust grows with consistency. You begin to rely less on motivation and more on alignment. Even on difficult days, your intention acts as an anchor, reminding you of who you are and what matters most. In conclusion, beginning with intention rather than urgency is a daily act of self-respect. It is how you protect your mind from unnecessary stress and external control. When you choose clarity at the start of your day, you build a strong mental foundation that supports focus, peace, and purpose. One intentional morning may seem small, but repeated daily, it becomes a powerful habit that shapes the quality of your life. Your thoughts are the most powerful influence in your life. Long before actions turn into habits and habits turn into outcomes, thoughts shape your reality. Every morning, your mind begins to generate stories about who you are, what you are capable of, and what the day might bring. If left undisciplined, these thoughts often default to fear, doubt, or limitation. Disciplining your thoughts each morning is not about forcing positivity. It is about choosing awareness, responsibility, and intention. What you think repeatedly becomes what you believe, and what you believe determines how you behave. If your inner dialogue constantly questions your worth or doubts your ability, your actions will reflect hesitation and self-sabotage. On the other hand, when your thoughts are guided by self-respect and clarity, your behavior becomes confident and purposeful. The goal is not to eliminate negative thoughts entirely, but to prevent them from controlling your mindset. Negative self-talk is often subtle. It appears as harsh inner criticism, comparison, or assumptions about failure before you even begin. Many people speak themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they care about. This internal dialogue weakens confidence, drains energy, and clouds judgment. Replacing negative self-talk with conscious self-respect requires awareness. You must first notice how you speak to yourself, especially in moments of stress, uncertainty, or fatigue. Conscious self-respect means choosing language that supports growth rather than punishment. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," you acknowledge, "I am learning." Instead of thinking, "I always fail," you remind yourself, "I am improving." These shifts may seem small, but repeated daily, they rewire the mind. Over time, your inner voice becomes a source of encouragement rather than criticism. Disciplining your thoughts also strengthens emotional stability. When your mind is untrained, emotions can quickly spiral, turning small challenges into overwhelming obstacles. By practicing thought discipline in the morning, you create a mental filter. You learn to question fearful thoughts instead of accepting them as truth. You recognize that not every thought deserves your belief or attention. This awareness gives you emotional balance and clarity throughout the day. Morning is the most powerful time to train your mind because it is when your thoughts are most impressionable. Before distractions arrive, before outside opinions influence you, your mind is open and receptive. This is the moment to plant empowering beliefs, affirm your values, and reinforce your self-worth. Just a few intentional minutes can set a mental tone that lasts all day. Thought discipline is also an act of self-leadership. It demonstrates that you are willing to take responsibility for your inner world. Life will present challenges regardless of how prepared you are, but a disciplined mind faces those challenges with resilience instead of fear. You begin to trust your ability to navigate uncertainty because your thoughts support your growth rather than undermine it. In conclusion, disciplining your thoughts every morning is one of the most transformative habits you can develop. It shapes your beliefs, strengthens your confidence, and protects your mental well-being. By replacing negative self-talk with conscious self-respect, you build a mind that is resilient, focused, and aligned with your highest potential. Thought by thought, morning by morning, you become the architect of your own inner strength. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful skills you can develop, yet it is rarely taught. It is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions without being controlled by them. Every morning, before the day begins to test your patience, confidence, or resilience, you have an opportunity to strengthen this skill. When you build emotional intelligence daily, you gain the ability to navigate life with calm clarity and self-mastery. Feeling your emotions does not make you weak. Emotions are signals, not commands. They inform you about your inner state, your needs, and your boundaries. Ignoring them leads to suppression, and suppression often leads to emotional outbursts or burnout. Strength lies in awareness. When you acknowledge how you feel without judgment, you create space between emotion and action. In that space, wisdom lives. Many people allow emotions to take control of their decisions. A moment of anger can lead to words that cannot be taken back. A moment of fear can prevent opportunity. A moment of insecurity can silence your voice. Emotional intelligence teaches you to pause. It reminds you that emotions are temporary, but the consequences of your actions can be lasting. When you choose to feel without reacting, you protect your peace and your integrity. Responding with awareness instead of reaction is a daily practice. Reactions are automatic, driven by habit and impulse. Responses are intentional, guided by values and clarity. The difference between the two determines the quality of your relationships, your work, and your self-respect. A reactive mind seeks relief. A responsive mind seeks understanding. Morning is the ideal time to build this awareness. By checking in with your emotional state at the start of the day, you become more conscious of your triggers and patterns. You begin to recognize what affects your mood and how you typically respond under pressure. This awareness prepares you for challenges before they arise. Instead of being caught off guard, you meet situations with composure and control. Strengthening emotional intelligence also improves communication. When you understand your emotions, you express yourself more clearly and listen more deeply. You stop projecting unresolved feelings onto others. You create space for empathy, both for yourself and for those around you. This emotional maturity builds trust and respect, strengthening personal and professional relationships. Emotional intelligence is also closely tied to confidence. When you trust yourself to handle your emotions, you no longer fear difficult conversations or challenging situations. You know that you can remain centered even when emotions arise. This self-trust creates inner security. You stop avoiding discomfort and start facing life with courage and presence. Over time, practicing emotional intelligence every morning rewires your emotional habits. You become less reactive, less overwhelmed, and more intentional. You develop patience with yourself and others. You learn that calm is not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it. This mastery becomes a source of strength that supports you through every season of life. In conclusion, strengthening your emotional intelligence is essential to building your mind every morning. By allowing yourself to feel without being led by emotion, and by choosing response over reaction, you cultivate clarity, resilience, and inner power. Emotional intelligence transforms challenges into lessons and emotions into allies. When practiced daily, it becomes a lifelong skill that shapes a balanced, confident, and empowered life. The mind grows in the direction of what you consistently feed it. Every morning, you are choosing between growth and comparison, between nourishment and distraction. In a world filled with constant information, curated success stories, and endless highlights of other people's lives, it is easy to fall into the habit of comparison. But comparison does not inspire growth. It drains confidence, distorts perspective, and weakens focus. Feeding your mind with growth is a deliberate choice to invest in your own evolution rather than measuring yourself against someone else's journey. Learning something daily does not require major achievements or dramatic breakthroughs. Growth often comes from small, consistent efforts. A few pages of a book, a thoughtful reflection, a new idea, or a moment of curiosity can strengthen the mind more than you realize. When you commit to learning each morning, you signal to yourself that growth matters. This mindset builds confidence because progress becomes personal and internal rather than dependent on external validation. Comparison, on the other hand, shifts your attention away from your own path. It convinces you that someone else's success diminishes your own potential. It creates unnecessary pressure and unrealistic expectations. When you compare, you are often comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight moments. This habit distorts reality and undermines self-belief. Feeding your mind with growth means recognizing that your journey is unique and cannot be measured by someone else's timeline. Stopping comparison requires awareness and intention. It begins with recognizing when your thoughts drift toward judgment or self-criticism. Instead of asking, "Why am I not there yet?" ask, "What am I learning right now?" This shift reclaims your focus and restores your sense of agency. You move from self-doubt to self-development. Over time, this habit builds resilience and emotional stability. Feeding your mind with growth also strengthens your sense of purpose. When you focus on learning and improvement, your goals become clearer and more meaningful. You begin to understand your strengths, refine your skills, and align your actions with your values. Growth-oriented thinking encourages patience and persistence. You stop rushing your process and start trusting it. This mindset also enhances creativity and innovation. When you are focused on growth rather than comparison, you feel free to explore new ideas without fear of judgment. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to learn from them, and to adjust without shame. This openness fuels creativity and builds confidence, because progress becomes about exploration rather than perfection. Morning is the ideal time to feed your mind with growth. Before distractions and comparisons enter your awareness, you can intentionally choose content, thoughts, and habits that support learning and self-improvement. Whether through reading, reflection, journaling, or mindful observation, these small rituals compound over time. They shape your thinking, your confidence, and your approach to challenges. In conclusion, feeding your mind with growth rather than comparison is essential to building a strong, resilient mindset. When you commit to learning daily and release the habit of measuring yourself against others, you reclaim your focus and confidence. Growth becomes sustainable, fulfilling, and aligned with your true potential. Each morning, choose to nourish your mind with curiosity, patience, and self-respect. Over time, these choices create a life defined not by comparison, but by continuous meaningful growth. A strong mind is not built on excitement alone. It is built on purpose, gratitude, and consistency. Every morning, before the demands of the day pull you in different directions, you have the opportunity to anchor your mind in what truly matters. Purpose gives you direction, gratitude gives you peace, and consistency gives you power. Together, they form a mental foundation that is steady, resilient, and sustainable. Remembering why you started reconnects you to your deeper motivation. Goals can lose meaning when challenges arise, when progress feels slow, or when self-doubt creeps in. By revisiting your purpose each morning, you remind yourself that your journey is about more than outcomes. It is about growth, integrity, and alignment with your values. Purpose keeps you grounded when motivation fades and focused when distractions arise. Practicing gratitude before ambition is a powerful shift. Many people begin their day focused on what they lack, what they need to achieve, or what is still missing. While ambition drives progress, gratitude sustains peace. Gratitude trains your mind to recognize what is already working, what you have already overcome, and what you already possess. This perspective does not limit your dreams, it strengthens them. When you operate from gratitude, ambition becomes healthier, more intentional, and less stressful. Trusting the process, especially when results are invisible, is one of the hardest lessons to learn. Growth often happens quietly, beneath the surface, long before it becomes visible. When you trust the process, you release the need for constant reassurance and external validation. You learn to value effort over outcome and discipline over applause. This trust builds patience and resilience, allowing you to stay committed even when progress feels slow. Choosing consistency over motivation is what transforms intention into results. Motivation is emotional and unpredictable. Some days it is strong, other days it disappears. Consistency, however, is a decision. It is the choice to show up even when you don't feel inspired, confident, or energized. By committing to small daily actions, you build momentum. Over time, these actions shape habits, and habits shape identity. Anchoring your mind in purpose and gratitude also strengthens emotional stability. When you know why you are doing something and appreciate what you already have, you are less shaken by setbacks or delays. Challenges become part of the process rather than evidence of failure. This mindset allows you to move forward with confidence and calm, even in uncertain circumstances. Morning is the most powerful time to reinforce these principles. Before the world influences your mindset, you can choose to ground yourself in purpose, reflect on gratitude, and commit to consistency. These simple practices do not require perfection, only presence. They remind you that progress is built one day at a time. In conclusion, anchoring your mind in purpose and gratitude completes the process of building your mind every morning. When you remember why you started, appreciate where you are, trust the process, and commit to consistency, you create a mindset that is unshakable. This foundation allows you to move through life with clarity, patience, and confidence. A disciplined mind, guided by purpose and sustained by gratitude, becomes your greatest asset every morning and beyond. Every morning offers you a quiet but powerful opportunity. Before the noise of the world begins, before expectations, responsibilities, and opinions pull at your attention, you are given a choice. You can wake up on autopilot, or you can consciously build your mind. The quality of your life is shaped not by one dramatic decision, but by the small, intentional choices you make each day. When you train your focus, discipline your thoughts, strengthen your emotional intelligence, feed your mind with growth, and anchor yourself in purpose and gratitude, you are not just preparing for the day ahead, you are shaping the person you are becoming. These lessons are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to empower you. You do not need to master them all at once. Progress happens when you commit to showing up, one morning at a time. Life will still present challenges. Dot will still visit. Progress may feel slow, but a built mind does not collapse under pressure. It adapts, learns, and continues forward with clarity and strength. When your mind is steady, your actions become intentional, your emotions become balanced, and your confidence becomes unshakable. Remember, the way you begin your morning sets the tone for how you live your life. Each morning is a chance to reset, realign, and recommit to yourself. Choose awareness over distraction. Choose growth over comparison. Choose consistency over comfort. Over time, these choices compound into a life guided by purpose, peace, and inner power. Build your mind every morning, and you will build a life that reflects your highest potential.